On today's Minute of the Apes, my nutritionist has me eating oatmeal at 9 o'clock at night before I go to bed, and I have never slept better.
Exercise with an ape maker, human down. It talks. Living is of the divine bound. We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
We are the good humans, it's a good human.
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we find out Richard's sleeping habits and we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. That's Sean. It makes you sleep better?
So I kind of panicked. So I have a nutritionist coach who kind of watches what I'm doing right now, leading into this competition, and I have my fats, my proteins, my carbs, my micronutrients, that kind of stuff. And I'm like 85% there. I still kind of like screw around with like cheat a little bit like the tequila that I had earlier yesterday. And this last week, he's like, what I need you to do now is I need you to move some complex carbohydrates, specifically oatmeal. And I want you to eat it plain. And you need to eat it an hour before you go to bed. So I was kind of panicked about this whole thing, and I did it for the first time last night. I slept amazing. I mean, nobody says, hey, eat a lot of food right before bed. And so this last night, I emailed the nutritionist like, man, I don't know about this. This is like next level of like eating. Like eating oatmeal before going to bed is like next level weird for me. And this morning he replies back, goes, how'd you sleep? And I was probably like a stone, like I fell asleep and I was out and I slept really hard for like 7 hours, recognizing that was the whole goal. So there you go. By the way,
I thought you weren't supposed to eat before you went to bed.
Huh?
I thought you weren't supposed to eat before you went to bed.
Well, apparently you can, and it's fine so long as it's in your macro numbers. And if you eat oatmeal, I was eating, to be honest, he told me to have complex carbohydrates before this, and I was eating sweet potatoes. And apparently that wasn't doing the trick that he wanted, so he said, have oatmeal by plain oatmeal. Mm-hmm. No fruit, no sugar, no nothing, no milk, just water and oatmeal. And I was so depressed about it, and I ate it last night. Oh, this is the worst. I'm just eating plain oatmeal. And then I went to bed, and I'm like, out. There you go. There's your. Let's talk about some apes.
I don't know that I can eat oatmeal late at night, though.
But it's freaky, right?
I don't know if I can eat
oatmeal.
You don't like oatmeal?
Not like potatoes or French fries or tacos.
Oatmeal is such a breakfasty kind of thing to me that I don't know if I could switch my brain off to that.
I did it last night, and it was really hard.
I know that's so stupid.
And I slept so heavy.
Because that's nothing but a thought pattern response kind of thing. Yeah. But it's the same as the people that like to eat breakfast for dinner.
I love breakfast for dinner. Yeah.
I like it, but it always seems wrong. And I'll tell you honestly, I'm sitting here looking at the clock and what we're doing, and I'm trying to figure out, do I have time to make myself breakfast? Because I like breakfast.
What's your breakfast usually comprised of?
I love eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon.
I love it.
Sean, what is your breakfast usually comprised of?
Try not to eat breakfast.
Oh. Do you not eat breakfast at all?
No.
Why not? Starts the day.
That's sleeping time.
Wait, what?
That's sleeping time.
Oh, in the morning?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But when you wake up, what do you have? You're already in brunch
I wake up, I get dressed, I go to work. I don't have time to eat. I sleep until it's time to go. I also like having a little hunger in my belly. There's nothing wrong with being hungry. There's a problem with being starving, and that is not what when people say, oh, I'm starving, they just mean I'm really hungry. It's okay to be hungry. Hungry is not a bad thing.
I am somebody that can wake up and work for several hours without eating.
Yes.
And be fine with that.
Yes.
However, recognizing that I go and work out, I'm going to work out afterwards, and I've got to be ready. I'm used to actually having some stuff now, but I could not eat for like 8 hours and be fine.
I could not eat breakfast and lunch and be just fine.
But I'm just kind of horrified by it because I recognize that you need to have something to start your day.
You don't have to.
You do.
No, you
totally do.
Well, obviously you don't because I don't.
Well, that's fine.
There you go. All right, so...
Let's talk about this minute.
We're
doing bourbon now. What are you doing?
I'm dealing with people texting me while you guys are talking food.
About last night?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
What is that frustrates you? What are they talking about?
It just...
Did you fuck up?
Oh, no.
Did they fuck up?
No, it's just the innocuous type stuff, but it's also that... so what he's referring to is that I played a gig last night, and it's the how much are we getting paid? And it's all the business management of it, and it's like, everybody calm down. Just take a breath.
I mean, it is Wednesday.
Right.
Wednesday?
Right.
Tuesday.
I guess I haven't paid him for a week and a half.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesdays, my dudes.
I just checking on last weekend.
I don't deal with trivial talk real well sometimes. I'm like, please stop.
How you feeling? What's the weather like outside?
Fuck off.
Let's talk about this trivial minute of Planet of the Apes.
So I'm actually glad that we've had this long dissection of eating and band pay and all this kind of stuff because, like I said, I got one note today, and it is...
What is it this one?
That's actually very good. I watched this minute and I tried. I think 3 or 4 times I watched it trying to find something to say, and I thought, I can't say anything. And the reason being, we haven't even teased what this minute's about yet.
We haven't even talked about this minute yet.
It's just that this minute doesn't do anything new. Nothing.
It doesn't.
So,
it
Sean,
doesn't set anything up.
Tell us what this minute is, Sean.
I'm going to start minute 33 with Breck asking if the figures were double-checked and ends with McDonald telling Caesar to do.
All right, let's take a listen to this lovely minute of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Did you double check them?
Yes, sir.
Then triple check them.
No. Done.
Hold all calls, Miss Greer.
Here's the latest IQ profile on all apes tested within the last 4 weeks. It's risen by 3 2/3 points.
Aha! Show that to Mr. McDonald. He thinks I'm imagining things.
I assembled that data, Morgan. You summarized the wrong part. As a result, their work output has increased about the same percentage, which I thought the governor might regard as good news.
It's all right. Go over that later.
No. Watch. Do.
As of minute 33, we have a courtyard's worth of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesar, and a planet's worth of humans.
All right, so in that minute that you just heard, I challenge anyone to tell me how it furthered the plot, because the conversation that exists amongst our government people is a regurgitation of every theme or whatever that may have passed before. We see Caesar acting stupid. Okay.
I think the only thing that we can take away from this minute is that the IQ of apes is raising, and the output of work is rising at the same rate. That's about the only information that's gleaned from this.
And great. Were that the first time we discuss something like that, that'd be interesting. But we've already touched upon these kind of themes. A conversation's got to mature. It's got to have new information interjected. And if you're going to, this is the first time that Caesar's heard it. If you're going to do that, we need to see it from his vantage point, that he's listening to that and he's understanding for the first time what they're saying.
So prior to the auction, there was supposed to be a scene that takes place in Breck's office, and they talk about some of the dialogue that from that moment is lifted and used in this moment. Right. That original scene did not have Caesar in it, but now we're going kind of this back and forth. We were supposed to get much more of a complex scene of McDonald and Caesar with the bourbon. We're going to get that kind of tomorrow, but right now there was supposed to be more stuff. So the stuff that's happening with Caesar and McDonald is happening kind of in the background, but what's in the foreground is the conversation Breck is having with his assistants. And it is
about the figures.
It is boring. It doesn't tell us anything.
Nope.
It doesn't
triple check the numbers.
Anything forward. The only thing I came away with this is that Breck is a very bad actor.
Yeah, very
like,
wooden.
This is really just kind of brought to my attention that he's just not good.
Right.
He's not commanding.
Right.
He's not interesting.
He's not good in this role. He may be a fine actor and other things, but in this, you're absolutely right. It's just
I was like, it's
one note.
We're just doing business. Show that to Mr. McDonald. He thinks that I'm imagining things. I assembled that data, Mr. Morgan. Like, it's just kind of this weird, like, it doesn't. We came in with Apes' IQ being higher.
A little bit higher,
Yeah.
and work's going up a little bit more.
Again, this goes back on the insemination from last week.
The superior breeds.
I don't understand
Superior
what
males.
they're trying to do.
I don't think they understand.
I don't understand why the city needs smart apes, but they're afraid of talking apes. I don't understand why this report is significant with the apes' intelligence rising. And Mr. McDonald, like, saying that's not relevant, like it's not important at this particular moment. It's, you're summarizing something in the report that he didn't say, he should have said glamorize. You're glamorizing something in the report that isn't necessarily relevant to this. You're making assumptions. I don't understand why.
And I think that's why I make one note about this, because my one note says, and I don't usually try to just say this is what my note says, but literally, I don't understand anything beyond IQ test and mixing drinks. It's because they talk about this stuff that really means nothing, and therefore my brain does. If I'm watching this, even for the first time I've seen this film, I'm like, what? What's going on? Why are you telling me this information? I've already heard.
I need Caesar to be hearing this.
I thought that too. If this is from his vantage point,
3.2% intelligence higher. How does this relate? Like,
you can do those things where it's, he's being shown those things, but it's maybe a tight shot of him, and he just sort of glances backwards, like we know he's listening to the conversation. I agree with you. He needs to hear this, and I think in tomorrow's minute too, he needs to be able to understand what happens in tomorrow's minute. If he were paying attention to the expectations of him learning to be a bartender, the way he reacts would make sense. If he knew intelligence is rising, we have to be on the watch out for this smart ape. Well, he knows he's smart ape. Then that plays into a whole thing, and now he learns he needs to start acting dumb.
So we're supposed to get something where Caesar picks the decanter, pours some whiskey into the glass, looks up to see Breck watching closely. Breck turns to his Lassus at his desk. That'll be all. We can go over this report later. Caesar, now aware that Breck is watching him, puts down the decanter, picks the soda bottle, presses down on the siphon, deliberately filling the glass to the top and letting the contents overflow into the bar. So that kind of happens, but we never get the sense that Caesar is aware of Breck watching him and why that's a threat. Breck walks over and starts paying attention, and Caesar does kind of screw up the pouring of the bourbon and the seltzer. There's just not that connect why Caesar is feeling in danger.
And I think that
able to be so smart earlier
right.
scenes.
And I think were it to be that somebody, whether it be the female assistant came in, oh my God, you brought somebody. You got an ape. I don't have to mix the drinks anymore. Well, the chart said he's intelligent. Let's see if he can do it. Caesar would understand that. Caesar's already heard that they're on the lookout for smart ape. He knows he can appear smart. Now, if we had seen him hear these type of things, then he goes wham and misses, and they go, and then they should react. See, they're wrong. There's no such thing, and the governor could be pissed about it.
Can you imagine if Breck's conversation at the desk to his two assistants combined two things: one, the political aspirations, and also Armando?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That's true.
Can you imagine had we had a moment where he talks about what he needs to do, why he needs to keep ape intelligence down?
Yes.
And then switch to a conversation where the assistant comes in or Culp comes in and talks about the detainee, and suddenly Caesar realizes where he's at and what's going on.
Richard, you nailed that one perfectly. That is what this scene needs. We need to understand. Because, without getting into future minutes, because Sean's not seen it.
Yep.
As the story progresses, I'm curious to see how Caesar finds out what he needs to know.
Right.
Because I never thought of it in that way. He needs to know where Armando is, what's going on, that he's close.
Right.
Whether that's that he has hopes he could break him out, or that he knows, oops, these are the same people that caught him, now I'm in trouble too. Whatever that realization is, he needs it right here.
Yeah, and that conversation that was wasted with the report and the intelligence of the apes that we didn't have any meaning to the audience could have been done right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Sean's getting to the end of his week. He's
we're getting there.
Cool.
Yeah, we know when Sean's done. It just becomes yep, nope. All right.
Welp.
What minute was that? Was that?
That was
33. All right, minute 33 in the books.
Yep.
Let's move on. Let's go have a great evening, right?
Let's do it.
All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the apes.